Ladies and gentlemen, once again, it's an honor, privilege, and a pleasure to be in a safe space and a brave place where it's all about counseling and not canceling. This is Counsel Culture, the place where we can feel together, deal together, reveal together so we can heal together. And I am joined by an illustrious guest. It truly is an honor. This professional, this expert is the president of the NAACP branch 1069. That's intense. That's heavy. She has her own street dedicated to her in Los Angeles because of her skill set. I mean, author, motivational speaker, community activist, as well as a co-producer and psychology expert on the hit reality show Teen Mom Family Reunion. It's long overdue. I'm excited because not only is she a life coach, but she is also a marriage, family, and child therapy professional. The one and only Dr. Cheyenne Bryant.
What's up, Nick?
Such a pleasure. I'm winded with that. My goodness. It's truly a pleasure. I'm on your couch today. We have a lot to discuss. I've been doing counsel culture for quite some time, and I created this platform specifically, like I said earlier, for men to be able to be vulnerable.
Right.
But, no holds bars, really be held accountable for, what we say, what we do, but be able to have a conversation about anything. So people like yourself, professionals like yourself are needed. One, to really discuss mental wellness in our community, but then also to hold our brothers to the fire when it needs to be. Me, starting with me. And in that sense, I say because you've done a lot of work, not just, as a doctor and as a therapist, but also with legislation when it comes to making sure that we have these opportunities as men and women, but specifically men in facilities of incarceration, but specifically in our community to have places to go to be able to deal.
Absolutely.
To be able to repent, to be able to have some sort of reform and reconciliation. Right. So I lean in, at the beginning of this just to say if you could expound on that, but then also to say, it's that time to really talk that talk. And we hug it out and say, Black men, you matter, but then at the same thing, this is Black men, this is how you can do better.
No, absolutely. And the whole Black men, you matter is just a slogan. Because when you look at politics, even just go back to anyone who's watched any presidential debate, any congressional debate, any local city council, mayor debate, there is so much conversation around women and women of color and how to make things safer when we're giving birth, how to make things safer for us health-wise, right? But there's never a conversation about Black men. When it comes to the rise in diabetes, prostate cancer, when it comes to the rise in suicide and suicide ideations within our Black male community, where Black men are 3 times more likely to commit suicide than Black women. And suicide used to be a white thing. And now I'm not condoning suicide against any human race. Right. I think suicide is dark, it's sad, it's lonely. And it's a human right to have a mental health and have a great quality of life. But when you look at it where it transitioned from being a white thing to now it's a Black and male thing, there are more issues than just a conversation can help. And when you talk about legislation, there's a thing called Amber Alert. Mm-hmm. And an Amber Alert is when, any child is missing under the age of 18. Yeah. Okay, well, a good friend of mine who was an amazing senator, now running for lieutenant governor, Stephen Bradford, our California senator, he came out with the Ebony Alert. The Ebony Alert does what? It alerts when there are Black kids and Black adults that are missing. So we need legislation that doesn't say, let's put a blanket over this. Okay, we need legislation that says loud and clear that this bill, this legislation, this policy is for Black men, for a Black man. Going a little further, when we talk about incarceration, we need to be in a space of deliverance and not dismissal. And a lot of times, not just from a political standpoint, but also from a professional standpoint, like healthcare and mental health, but also from just being in the community in the inner city or being in the community as just a person who is Black or a person of color, we need to be able to look at how do we deliver each other, even as friends, than just dismiss and sabotage, because that comes from a root of pain and a root of abandonment and a root of inferiority and a root of many other things,
Facts.
right? And so with incarceration, how do we do more mental health diversions instead of incarceration time? Because the relapse rate of someone coming out of prison and doing the exact same act is a 92%. So at 92%, if me and you go to jail for anything, we're more than likely going to repeat that behavior. But if you're going to get 10 years in prison and the judge, and because I'm all for somebody getting the time when they do the crime. The judge says, hey, look, Nick, I'll give you 2 years in prison, but you got 5 years of mental health diversion. What is mental health diversion? Mental health diversion means you're going to a counselor, a therapist, a psychiatrist, a psychologist that's going to go deeper into what is the root of what's going on with the behavior you continuously create.
Right.
Why is your 3-part house, how you think, how you feel, how you behave, out of alignment, right? Where did you either learn this behavior or what is your payoff for this behavior? So we can figure out how to get you to unlearn, to relearn, okay? Reprogram, so your norms shift into a new norm that can be conducive, real reform, okay? And so when you're putting someone in the slammer, that's dismissal. There's no deliverance in there.
Facts.
There's no deliverance in there, And so the real thing is to make sure that, no problem, that make sure that we are getting Black men to a place of having a diversion. And also you said accountability really quick. I love accountability, but I hate the way it's thrown around. Because accountability isn't something that I can just tell you, Nick, you need to be accountable. And then tomorrow morning, you're just like, you know what, Doc, I apologize, I'm sorry, I'm accountable. Yeah, those are the superficial, surface words of accountability. But let me explain this. People, not just Black men, people need the tools on how do you really take accountability. What is accountability?
That's true, because it sounds like you say it, but it's like, how did it really happen? It's like a apology is empty if there's no action behind it. That makes,
And then what action? How do you choose as a Black man? I'm telling you as a Black man, no, you need to be accountable. This was wrong, what you did.
I'm accountable.
Okay, right.
And then what?
And then what? And then what if all you know is how to say, I'm sorry? What if that's what if that's the extent to your capacity of accountability?
Guilty. I'm guilty of that. I have no problem saying I'm sorry, especially if I know that's going to get me out of trouble really quickly. Like, all right, I'm sorry.
And some men don't know a different action.
If I'm sorry and I keep repeating the same thing, then that sorry becomes worse.
And so even when I accept your apology and go back into relationship with you, and I'm not just talking about romance, I'm talking about professional, friendship, familyship, I've also just dismissed you. Because delivering you or assisting you would have taught you what accountability looks like for me.
So what does that look like? As we break that down, how do you actually become accountable for more than just saying, I'm sorry, or I'm guilty, or I did that? Where does the real repentance occur?
I love that. Accountability isn't just, I'm sorry, it's a plan of action to shift or pivot in a different way next time around. So really, I don't need an apology from you for you to be accountable. So you can be accountable on your own without saying, I'm sorry, right? Because accountability shows up in our next engagement where we encounter the same circumstance. I see you do a different action. That's accountability.
Don't repeat the same offense.
That's accountability. And the other thing is, if I don't know a different or new action to exhibit, then I should be able to have enough sense of self and confidence in me and safe space with you, because if I choose you, I trust you. So, we got to start choosing better as well. Okay? I should be able to, accountability. I should be able to come to you and say, Nick, listen, I am, very apologetic for what I did. I don't want to do it again, but I don't know another way. I don't know how to show up different for you. I don't know how to speak without emasculating you. I don't know how to dig without gutting you out. I don't know how to tell you I don't like something without, excuse my language, can I curse for a minute? Without saying, fuck you. You get what I'm saying? I don't know how to tell you you hurt my feelings without saying, you're a nothing ass nigga. If we gonna talk real, let's talk real. I don't know that.
Facts.
So at what point do you help deliver me as your friend or as your woman, as your wife that says, can you show me different? Without sabotaging me, without abandoning me, without causing more pain in my trauma by leaving me because I didn't do, what was your ideology of what I should have done? Now we're talking about codependency.
That's real talk. That's heavy. You diving in deep immediately. I mean, even when it comes, like you said, in any type of relationship, like both sides taking accountability. I mean, I wish there was a better word, or I mean, you described it, very eloquently, but it really is both sides holding true when they do come to whatever the interaction is, to say, I'm owning my shit, you owning your shit. And the goal, to me, it's always like, are we looking for a resolution? Or are we just really here to emote and say, this is my piece and you got to hear me? Which there's opportunities for those spaces
both,
too.
too.
Like,
Exactly.
And before, like, I need to get this out. I need to emote. I need to feel this. But hopefully in our interaction, there's going to be some sort of, solution and resolution at the end of the day.
And let me ask you this. Do you believe, just personally you, that solution or resolution looks like us coming into agreement?
Not always.
Okay.
We can agree to disagree.
Okay.
But for me, and just like I said, I'm on your couch right now. I don't know if it's the Libra in me, if it's my abandonment issues as a child. I'm quick to be like, we agree to disagree, so I'm out. I'll run. I'll detach. I'll act like, I'll shut down. I'll internalize. And I know that's not healthy, but just as a man, to stay away from conflict with any woman in my life, I'll just be like, we agree to disagree.
Yeah.
You can have that.
But who taught you that you sabotage to avoid conflict? Because that's not true, but who taught you that? Where did you learn that from?
I mean, years of therapy,
Okay.
but more like, because I wouldn't say sabotage, more say, but I just know that I tend to run or to avoid.
But fleeing is sabotaging.
Is it always?
Fleeing is sabotaging.
Or is that safety? Because if I engage, and especially if one or two parties become hostile in the engagement, I'd much rather be like, you know what? I'm gonna wait till we calm down.
But what is hostility? Unresolved pain.
Right.
So if you're fleeing from unresolved pain, then what is the resolve? What is the benefit of fleeing from unresolved pain? It just causes more unresolved pain.
But I'm saying pain causes pain, and hurt people hurt people.
Yes.
And so in that sense, in our heightened interaction,
yes,
if we hear with it, I'm gonna check out. Because you're saying things that are hurtful.
Gotcha.
Therefore, I'm gonna want to say things that are hurtful.
So let me ask you this: what tool could you use that could dissipate the hostility and bring y'all to a safe space? Because let me say this.
My feet.
No.
Walking out the door.
Wrong answer.
I'm leaving.
Then
I will be back when we are.
That is your dysfunctional norm.
Absolutely.
And that stemmed from what you said, abandonment. All abandonment does is make you create a little boy who was taught that he didn't matter, who was taught that he was not honorable, he was not respectful, he has very low value, who grows into a grown man, who projects that exact value.
Why you gotta talk about me in my face like this?
Who projects that exact value on every woman he comes in contact with. And so he overcompensates for things outside of him, not things inside of him, which makes him extremely codependent. And we're getting to that with all your baby mamas. We're waiting a little long to get into that.
We can get into it now.
The tool, we'll get there. The tool for dissipating, because I want everyone to know this tool. This is just not for you or for me. I mean, because I was the one that used to go hostile. I know I can go hostile and emasculate and say a lot of cutting things. And if a dude didn't pivot, it was going to be some pivoting if he didn't pivot.
So furniture was going to be moving.
I understand it. But the tool is emotional intelligence. The tool is what is emotional intelligence to you?
Emotional intelligence is knowing how to suss out the situation and understand and feel for someone else and have the empathy for the moment. That's why I'm removing myself.
Emotional intelligence is more about you. It's about being able to sit in what you feel. Hold on. Without the codependency of allowing this person's emotions to
penetrate.
To throttle. Penetrate, that's my word. To move my throttle.
Right.
That's called self-mastery, and that's emotional intelligence. And so when things get hostile, if I implement the emotional intelligence tool and I say, hold on, Nick, baby, I'm just trying to have a conversation with you. Like, seriously, there's a lot of pain between both of us, and I would rather us sit and exchange our pain and facilitate each other than us turn on each other and project more pain onto each other. Are you in a place to do that right now? Or do you need some time before we can do that? That's emotional intelligence. 9 times out of 10, that de-arms the other person. If the person's not there yet, then it's still healthy for you to say, look, Doc, I want to do that, but I can't do that right now. So I need a moment. But that's still emotional intelligence on your end.
That's two emotionally intelligent people communicating.
But what is mental health? That's mental health.
When someone says, I'm putting this EQ aside, you know, and therefore I need to emote right now. If I said exactly what you said to someone that I was in discussion or
you're inflamed at that moment.
They're gonna say, I want to hear that shit. Like, I feel like this right now. And the tone in which you're talking to me is you're actually being passive aggressive. You're using all these big
and you're being
therapy
deceiving, and you're trying to make me feel inferior,
and you're gaslighting me and all of these other fascinating terms that we've come up with, when really I'm just trying to find resolution. I always say it's not about who's right, it's about what's right. And even in those scenarios, if someone is enraged, if someone is feeling pain, they don't want to be like the thing that I always say with women: never tell a woman to calm down. Never tell a woman to relax. You gotta let it happen. And the way, I'm not gonna tell you to calm down, I'm not gonna tell you to relax, I'm gonna leave and I'll be back when we can actually have.
You're gonna leave when the pain level is at a 10. You're gonna return, the pain level is gonna be at a 20. Let me tell you why.
I'm gonna be going long enough
because you left her in her pain to fend for herself. Which is exactly what happened to you as a little boy.
Right.
And but look what it created in you. Not saying that you're not a
I'm
wonderful
not leaving
man.
forever. I'll be back when you calmed. I mean, because I don't want to say it.
Right. You can say calm down to me. I'm emotionally intelligent. I can take it.
When things are a little bit more chill, because otherwise, like you said, it's going to be stuff all over the house.
And be honest about this answer.
Always.
How, when you've left, obviously you've done this is your norm, you've done this all your life. When you've left for long enough to come back, how many times have you and that particular individual had the same damn argument over and over again? That wasn't the last time y'all had that.
I don't know if this is a trick or this is manipulation, but if you stay gone long enough, they get worried about you. and then they're happy to see you when Daddy's home.
Right. Okay, but that's also
all you gotta have is a pizza, some donuts in your hand.
That's in the moment though, baby. Later on in that relationship,
then we can talk.
But y'all have revisited that same
because
issue.
Because we have to resolve.
Because there's no resolve.
But there's no one's enraged in that moment. Because time heals most wounds.
Let me tell you why. Because feelings cause issues. Feelings cause issues.
Yes.
Feelings cause issues.
Absolutely.
Not emotions.
Okay.
2 different things.
Break that down.
So, you know the culture term, you and your feelings?
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
But when I'm sitting in my emotions, I'm feeling.
Right.
So that I can deal.
Absolutely.
And so that I can heal.
Yeah. And emotions are more than just feelings.
Right. And so if I am emotionally intelligent, which is mental health.
Yes.
And you and I or we or whoever you're with are taking the initiatives to become better within their mental, because mental health is subjective. We talked about this. Mental health is not just a diagnosis in the DSM. Mental health is very subjective. Mental health is if something is causing you impairment, then that is a mental health issue. It doesn't have to be a diagnosis. It doesn't have to be depression. If it's causing an impairment and your mental health is skewed, you have a mental health issue at that moment.
Because we've been throwing that mental health word around very easily nowadays, but to that point to where you just defined it, you know, because sometimes it feels like a label and it discredits people, and then sometimes it feels like an excuse. But to what you're saying is like if it causes an impairment.
Right. Now I want to go back to this little argument. If you got 2 abandoned people in this situation, and one flees, which is abandonment, now I'm abandoned because you fleed me. Right. So you're causing more impairment.
But I'll be back.
But it doesn't matter. You're causing more impairment. Right. Who abandoned you when you were young?
Everyone.
Okay, are they back? Have they came back?
Yeah.
Oh, but you still reap the repercussions of their abandonment, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so it doesn't make it okay. You're still having to deal with that shit now, even though they returned and they came back. Yeah. It doesn't make them coming back atone for what the impact or the impairment they caused or you engulfed in because of that experience. So when you leave...
But it made me stronger.
In what ways?
It made me be able to deal with
With what?
Abandonment,
No,
with
you're
detachment.
still not dealing with abandonment.
No, because now I've learned to be like, okay.
And deal with what? Because if you're fleeing, you're not dealing with your emotion.
No, because I understand there's a reason and season for multiple things. So if I'm going to give you the time and the space that you need, and we'll handle it when we handle it. And it's not in my hands. I give it to the higher power. I give it to the Lord, and He's going to figure it out.
Every relationship's a direct reflection of who we are.
Absolutely.
We see in others who we are, not who they are.
Yeah.
Okay, so like with you, only because I'm in a place of not perfect at all, of meaning healing. I've done this healing work. It's been years. I maintain it. I do it every day.
Right.
It's literally a lifestyle. Otherwise, I can go back to my dysfunctional norms and nobody's safe there. Okay, not even me, not even here.
I hear you.
So I say that to say, when I'm looking at you, right? We see in others who we are, not who they are. I see a man who is extremely broken, who has taken his brokenness and made the best of it, who has made many decisions that he feels that was great and contributed to a greatness of a big moving part of his life, but also contributed to some demise of a big part of his life, who is now trying to figure out, how do I take these moving parts and make them a collective whole? Because I'm feeling a lot of brokenness and division and a lot of stuff that's going on. However, I see a man who at the core is a great man, has great character, wants to be better, wants to have better character, wants to show up for people better, wants to be the best father he could be, trying to figure out how he can do that, still figuring out a sense of self, stands on his square, stands on business, sometimes too much to where standing on that business can mess some things up. So what I'm saying is all those things I said I see in you are just the things that are really in me, because I can't see past myself. Okay.
Right.
And so when you're in a relationship and you're in this hostile argument or a calm argument and you decide to get up and walk out, you're not fleeing from what you keep saying is the argument or her anger. You're fleeing from the reflection of yourself. So when we think that we're fleeing from this conversation of what you're saying to me, I'm fleeing from the very best thing that I need, which is reflecting to me how I see you showing up with me, because you're just a mirror. And so if I can sit in that emotion with you, you have to have that awareness, right? Of saying, hold on, Nick, look, like it's a lot of stuff going on in you right now that just don't sit right with me, because it's a direct reflection of who I am.
You ain't have to read me like that. But
And let me go further, because we're talking about black men. So we're talking about fleeing.
Yeah.
Okay, we're talking about fleeing. We can blame it on abandonment issues. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
But if you want to talk about accountability, black men, when they're fleeing anything, fleeing from being a father, fleeing from being a husband, fleeing from the argument, fleeing from accountability, they're just fleeing from themselves. And that's why there's no personal self-growth, because words don't teach, experience does. And so if I can't sit in this experience with you, then what the hell am I learning from this experience? If every time I flee, I go back to my dysfunctional norm, where is the growth within myself? At this point, it becomes not even about you.
Right.
It becomes about Dr. Bryant trying to be better for me, trying to be better for my husband who is to come, for my kids when I do happen to have children, because I'm not married or have kids yet.
Right.
But I always make sure any man I'm dating, any engagement I'm in, I'm here to make sure I can sit in this, I can atone in this, and I can get the experience that I want to take and create a new norm with. Because dysfunction didn't work for me, and it ain't working for you.
So what I would say to that, because I agree with everything that you said, the only addendum or additive that I would put in, I feel like the fleeing, whether it's in general, like you talk about what black men do, or specifically if it's you and I in a heated scenario, I'm fleeing from the lack of control.
Okay.
Because when there is no control, there's chaos. And in that setting, if you on high, I'm on high, and I know that this can only bubble over because neither one of us have control of the moment or of our emotions, it's only going to get worse. So, and even in that, with using that same, analogy of how black men just flee from everything.
Let me say,
we're fleeing from the thing
yeah,
because we don't have
everyone
control
has
of the
the capacity
system.
to flee, but because our topic is mostly black men and mental health, I want to make it clear.
No.
Black women flee too, but we're talking about black
But
men mental health.
we're personalizing it with me because I know that is who I am, and it's because I only run when I'm like, you know what, I don't have control over this situation. And as someone who likes control, I'll be back when I have control.
But okay, I love that. This is so good. What is control?
A song Janet Jackson put out in the 80s.
Right, exactly. You see?
Control.
See? Don't deflect. Bring it back here. Don't deflect. You see, he just fleed. That's it, fleeing. Bring it back. Bring it back. You ain't fleeing. At the root of control, what is control? For one, it's an illusion. What is at the root of control?
Ego.
Okay, then that's fine. What is ego?
What
is ego?
Ego?
The root of ego is what?
It's protecting my vulnerabilities.
It's an insecure little boy. That's what the root of control is, because it's an illusion. Okay? Because when we control anything.
We're talking, no, it's not illusion when you yelling, I'm yelling.
No, we're talking about the control piece.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. Neither one of us have control because our emotions are on high.
But you have two people who are at the peak of a mental health freaking breakdown. A mental health issue.
No control.
So again, the way that you gain control is by two things. You use two tools. You cannot shift or change anything about you unless you shift or change your experience. So as long as you keep fleeing,
that's why I'm shifting my ass out the door.
But that's what you've been doing. But that allows you to stay in abandonment. That allows you to
I'm
stay.
I'm comfortable with my abandonment.
Because you are in your dysfunctional norm that you've become comfortable with.
But it's worked. It's become a superpower.
But you've learned to survive in it. You're not thriving in that. That's not thriving. You're surviving in that.
Okay.
And so anytime you are surviving and not thriving, there is no cape. There is no superpower. There's no superpower in a lack of mental health. And there's no superpower.
But it's worked for me. Like you said, I mean, you
know why it
you
worked
read
for you?
me well.
You know why it worked for you?
Why?
You know why it worked for you? I'm going to go there, and it's probably going to be, okay.
Go ahead.
This is what
we got 2 minutes left in our first session.
With all due respect, seriously, to all the women that you've encountered, ladies, I'm saying this. The reason why it's worked for you is because you have chosen and to prey on low-functioning women who don't have the emotional intelligence. No, I'm going there. Who will allow you to do that, Nick? And when I say allow, it's not a control thing. When I say allow, I'm not saying that she sits across you and says, this is what you won't do, you're crossing a boundary. Nick.
I disagree.
Yes.
This is why I disagree. I mean, one, because
why you gonna make sure, but you gotta go in protection mode too.
But I'm saying because you could say from all the high value women that I've ever
I didn't say high value.
But okay, I'm giving compliments. But I'm just saying
I'm like, wait a minute.
For the people who are even of them being, because first of all,
low-functioning women will allow you to function low with them. Nick, you could not function that low.
So this is,
Nick,
everyone's low-functioning at some point in their life.
You could not function low with a woman of my functioning, not because I'm superior. Not because I'm superior. Listen to me say this really quick. Not because I'm superior to any other woman, but because I do have leverage. I've been in my field for 17 years, so we get that. But I've done the work, meaning you won't have an opportunity to get hostile with me, and you may want to flee, but fleeing would not get you a payoff with me. Wait a minute.
I'm not the hostile individual.
But that's my point. Did you hear what you just said? We said the same thing. You would never have the opportunity to get hostile with me.
Yeah, because I control myself.
Hold on. Okay.
I have full control of my, but in your sense, because that's what I'm saying, because only reason I say what I disagree, because at some point we've all been low functioning.
Yes.
And we have to accept that.
Yes.
So to label that, it's like, all right, well, at some point everybody's gonna be in their low state. Everybody's gonna be vulnerable. Everybody's gonna feel empty.
But
everybody's
therapy,
gonna yearn something.
Mental health,
and when it comes to relationships, the beauty of a great relationship is where I'm weak, you are strong. So therefore, I have dealt with some people that balance me and are equally yoked. And at times, have I been manipulative and prey on certain things? Yes, because I'm a man.
Right. But not all men do that. We don't want to blanket
all
men.
And I will take advantage.
Do not prey and manipulate. Not all men.
First of all humans prey and manipulate. But in a man in a relationship,
not in a praying way.
If I see that I can say, okay, I feel like I need this and this person has this, I'm going to do and say whatever I need to do to get that.
But Nick, again, law of attraction. We attract who we are despite of who we think we are. You used the word, you said women who are equally yoked to you.
Yeah.
Equally yoked comes in many different facets.
100%. Balance, if anything.
They have been equally yoked to your low functioning dysfunction that you have learned to survive in.
Because I use my tools to, because first of all, you're acting as if I'm entering every scenario with the full me, and we all, every time someone meets someone, you're meeting their representative. I know how to turn on the perfect man.
Depending
and
on
so
the
therefore
person,
I may have manipulated a situation, and therefore, so it's to no discredit to anyone else,
I got you.
I've come into every situation. I can be God-fearing, celibate, the one that you want. I can tell you everything that you want in a man and show you that. I can open the doors, lay down the cloak, send the jet, do it all to be like, oh my goodness, I've never, and then Toxic Nick shows up, and you like, this motherfucker got me.
No, but
he done gave me the draws, and I ain't heard from him in 3 weeks.
What you said is perfect. No, what you said is perfect because you named all of the low-functioning, superficial things that a low-functioning woman would fall into.
Church,
women,
that ain't low-functioning.
Baby, any woman,
we going to see the Lord together.
Any woman or man,
or the mosque, wherever you want to go. I know them both.
Any person who's done the work, who gained a sense of self, who's worked on their pain pockets, who's worked on their trauma,
are still going to be vulnerable.
They're going to be vulnerable.
They're still going to yearn. And late at night when you're sleeping alone, you're going to go, I wish I had a strong man to rub my back.
They're going to be imperfect, but that person would want a strong, healthy, functioning man, not a low-functioning man.
Sometimes it just be a nigga with some good hands.
Not a low-functioning man, no. That's what I'm saying is the difference. But
every woman, you can't, Doc, you can't sit here and say that.
But you're speaking from your experience, which makes it better.
I'm saying,
because your experience of these women is that they fall short for a jet and a good meal and a good man who says he goes to church.
And some strong hands.
And let me go further, and probably a big penis. But okay,
you said it, not me.
Let me go. But again, a high functioning. I'm not even talking about value. A high functioning woman who's done the work.
I'm trying to hear what this high functioning woman is.
But a high functioning woman, you cannot send a jet and be toxic, and she will go on the
She don't know I'm toxic yet.
A high-functioning woman wouldn't even attract you, baby. Because it's law of attraction. Stick with me. Just stick with me.
Please explain this high-functioning woman.
Regulate your emotions and stick with me. Regulate your emotions and stick with me.
I'm trying to hear you.
Listen, what is law of attraction? We attract who we are despite who we think we are.
Absolutely.
Think we are.
Absolutely.
Okay. So a high-functioning woman is not going to attract by default. By her calibration, she's not attracting a man who is not perfect. The man has got all kinds of mess. So does she. But when it comes to the level of her calibration and functioning and mental health and doing the work, she's going to attract that at which she is, that at what she leads with. So let me say this. Do I get on private jets that I pay for myself? Absolutely. Have I had a man do a wonderful, beautiful things for me? Absolutely. Have I had rocks and this and caught off weddings? Of course. But let me say this. Prior to me doing the work and being a high-functioning woman, I attracted low-functioning men. Hold on.
So you're saying you're a high-functioning woman who attracted low-functioning men?
No, it's not what I said. I said prior to me doing the work and becoming a high-functioning woman, my low-functioning self attracted low-functioning men. Hold on. You know why I attracted them? Because I needed low-functioning to feed low-functioning. Okay, hold on. A low-functioning man cannot feed a high-functioning woman, and a low-functioning woman can't feed a high-functioning man. And so what I'm telling you is there is no equally yoked there. If a high-functioning woman is a gallon. Okay, and a low-functioning human being, let's just go human being, not even man and woman.
Now she got props.
We got props. This is the high-functioning person.
This is the high-functioning woman right here.
Just a person. Let's just go person. Because you got men who are high-functioning, because I am calibrating, attracting y'all, and I love y'all. So let me come back. Let me bring it back.
Wherever they at. Wherever you make-believe motherfuckers are.
Right, listen. So high-functioning is a gallon. Low-functioning is a pint, okay?
Okay.
If low functioning poured every single thing that he or she needed into this, you guys tell me how much is missing, how much is lacking, how much is there. Low functioning could never hang with the high functioning. If high functioning poured everything they had into low functioning, it would overwhelm them. They couldn't facilitate, they couldn't sustain. They might be able to do, like Nick said, they might be able to attract, but there's no type of sustaining here.
So how long you want to sustain for? Low functioning is comfortable being low functioning. That's about accountability. That's accepting who you are. Because with all due respect,
there you go.
This high functioning person, This sounds a little delusional.
It's not.
Because
it's called doing the work, Nick.
Because if you're that high functioning, you're gonna be high functioning by your damn self. There's no who are you gonna be with?
Nick, stop. That was so perfect. I swear. No, I love that. That right there. That's it. That should be the whole snippet of the show. Say it one more time, please. Please say that one more time.
If you're gonna be that high functioning, you're gonna be high functioning by your damn self.
Okay. Now you understand why people who are in my field, seriously, who have done a lot of work, and this is just real, this is no, all jokes aside, who've done the work, we're not fucking perfect. We are far from it. I don't even want to be perfect. I don't even care about it. But I want to be healthy, meaning I just want a peace of mind while I'm being imperfect.
Absolutely.
I want to be able to have a conversation with you and it be from a place of disagreement, agreement, but still love and respect, and we walk away, right? So that's just being healthy, not perfect.
Yeah.
However, folks who are in my field or who have already got to a place of high functioning, got to a place of obtaining a peace of mind, not perfection. It is, you're exactly right. It is a much smaller pool. And so can it get lonely sometimes up there? Not just from dating. I'm talking about from friends.
High frequency.
I'm talking about from people who just don't get my conversation.
I agree with that.
From people who I say to them, Nick, I'm not trying to fuss with you. Listen, I just want to have a conversation, and we are projecting pain onto each other. So can we sit here and process our pain so we can produce a healthy relationship? When I say
two emotionally intelligent people.
But when you're saying that, you're that person who's high functioning, emotionally intelligent. That's all high functioning means, is you're emotionally intelligent. You know how to govern yourself. You know how to master yourself. You've done the work. You use the tools. You're doing it every single day. It's a lifestyle, right? Not just a preventative or intervention. It's a fucking lifestyle.
Right.
Then what happens is when you start to lead with that, you said it perfectly about 15 minutes ago. The person who's low functioning says, "Are you gaslighting me?" No, I'm trying to be healthy with you. Hold on. Oh, but I want to talk this out. We can deliver, not dismiss. Oh, now fuck you. I can't take this. So what happens? The gallon and the pint.
Too much.
What'd you say?
It's too much.
Okay, so that leads for the gallon person to do what? Have to respectfully, healthily have a conversation that still says, listen, I would have loved to have this with you, but it seems like we are just not there. And because of that, I wish you best, but it's not fleeing. It's just a healthy conversation that leaves you not abandoned, but leaves you not abandoned because I've had this conversation. So what happens is, you're right. The folks who are functioning at that high level, the high vibrations in your words, is it always easy to find those same people? No. This is why you have this show. This is why you have this platform, Nick, so that we can teach people how to get there, so we all could be in a place of not perfection, but a place of peace of mind, a place of emotional intelligence, and I can love you and stick by you even when I don't agree with what you're doing.
You see how we brought that home?
That's mental health.
There it is.
That's mental health,
And I think we should pause here for our first session. We already went over, but you did that. Yo, I know the comments is going to go crazy. Like, subscribe. Dr. Bryant is in the building. Please join us again, because this is to be continued. We got another session coming right here on Counsel Culture.